I say, wait up. I say, wait up, dog. Let the fun begin. That's a tune-up, bro. This goes out to all the coffee lovers of the world. I just love hot Cheetos. That's my wife. Ooh la la. Go round. Jalapeno. Get off my call. Don't miss the sausage fest.
Go Browns.
TBTL.
If we wanted to, we could have our own business.
No, I agree. If we really wanted to, we could. It's just that, do we want to do that? Do we want to have a website and a blog and be like, this is what we did today?
No, it's too much work.
Yeah.
And too expensive.
Wow, you're really good at puzzles.
I did them all the time as a kid. As my mom used to say, when you're doing a puzzle, it's like having 1,000 friends.
You know, Johnny, I just don't know how you do it.
What?
A 4-hour show every morning.
Just talk into the mic and your voice goes out through the wires. And once a week, whether you need it or not, somebody comes in here and gives you a check for $38.
Have a good show, dummy. It's what you do is so important.
Well, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Tuesday edition of TBTL.
It's your lucky day.
The show that just might be too beautiful to live.
It is our turn.
My name is Luke Burbank. I'm your host.
You paint your bald spot?
What bald spot?
Coming to you once again from Denver, Colorado, the Queen City.
Indeed, Queen.
As part of TBTL-a-thon 13, Let the Fun Begin.
Let the fun begin.
Where we are also streaming live on the internet.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Hello to everybody out there watching us on YouTube.
Welcome to the internet.
Sorry for the slight delay getting going today. For those of you watching and experiencing this live, there was some technical times that my goal is for it to not dominate the next 1.5 hours of content, because we have important things to talk about here on this Tuesday edition of the show, like the snacks that Andrew ate on the drive out here to Denver from Seattle.
Holy shit, snacks!
And also, my pilgrimage I made this morning to what I still call Mile High Stadium, although I guess technically it's called Empower Field now.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Where I just stood on the far side of a chain link fence and looked at it and thought, Mommy, is that where Mr. Russell Wilson lives now?
Unlimited.
Also, we will be taking your calls because
Ahoy, hoy.
The whole fun of these TBTL-a-thon weeks is that when we stream the show live, challenging though that may be on a Tuesday, we can then take your phone calls. Phone number is 206-414-TBTL. It's 206-414-8285. And we will be looking forward to talking to some of you folks today and throughout the week. Now, we can't do any of that, and I mean that literally. Does anybody say that word that way, literally? We literally would not be here without this young man.
It was literally a major disaster.
We would not be on the air. We would not be on your podcatcher. We would not be talking to you via YouTube without this guy's technical prowess.
Oh my God! He made it!
He is Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now from just a few feet to my right on this desk, on this couch behind this desk here in Denver, Colorado. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
We're just a couple of guys on a couch behind a bench in a room where apparently we can't turn on certain lights because it makes our entire broadcast collapse.
Yesterday was smooth sailing with this whole thing, and it was just like we were both just high-fiving, having a just like last night we went and we checked out the venue where we're going to, Local 46, where we're going to do this live event on Friday night. And then
we went to awesome.
We went to Billy's Inn and had a little dinner. Like, it was just a really wonderful night. And we were basking in the glow of how smooth everything went yesterday. And then today we're sitting here, and 2 minutes before broadcast time, you decided, and I thought you were being a little extra, you decided to just run a test. Let's just hear what the sound is that's going out to YouTube. And I thought, we know it's great. It's butter. It worked perfectly yesterday. Nothing has changed.
It's Lucals in the A.
Thanks, man. that
didn't sound great.
You said and the A, not in the A, right?
Let's keep rolling. Everybody just keep
But,
it moving. Keep it
and
moving.
then you did some sort of sound check where the sound that was going out over YouTube to all of y'all watching, all I don't know, the people. Although, by the way, my screen says people are still waiting to watch. So,
well, that's no good. Can you guys hear us? Okay, I'm looking at the chat. Somebody echoed one of the drops you played, so
okay,
I take it that they can hear.
I'm
us.
blaming my connection on. Anyway, point is, the sound that we were sending to the people watching on YouTube Live was just this terrible, staticky, feedback, garbled mess. And Andrew, I have to say, what I witnessed from you was nothing short of spectacular.
So I stripped down
yes,
to nothing but my muscle tee and some biking
I don't know
shorts.
why you greased yourself up. I also thought that seemed, first of all, it took time. I didn't know how it was relevant.
Everything that I learned about audio production, I learned from Willie the janitor on The Simpsons.
But like you then just said about Groundskeeper Willie.
Groundskeeper Willie, yeah.
You then, you just kind of went through, you were like, okay, if we unplug this and we still hear the sound, you change the battery in this particular device that goes into your phone. And again, now it's like, we're now 10 minutes overdue for starting the show. Now we're 15 minutes. And you're then just picking up the tripod that the camera's on, and you're walking around this room like it's a divining rod and you're looking for water, except that water is no more static. And then you just look up and you go, the lights! The lights! And so I go turn off the lights, and apparently that fixed it.
Yeah, because at some point I realized that it wasn't a bad connection. It wasn't a bad, I don't know, I eliminated a bunch of things. And then sometimes when you have a bunch of power cables combined with audio cables, which I'm trying to keep separate, of course. This isn't my first rodeo. This is sort of my first rodeo. I was being pretty careful not to cross those wires, but I was still getting what I realized was just interference from the atmosphere. I just kind of realized, when I jiggle things, it just sort of kind of comes and goes. And I had a feeling it might have been an electrical thing. And I think there are some lights. Probably these things are on dimmer switches or something somewhere in the chain. Anyway, here's the deal. I'm glad that you brought that up, and folks know why we're starting late today. I'm a little bit amped right now because of all of the rush of trying to figure that stuff out. Right. And so I realize I'm a little bit discombobulated. I'm not in the mood that I was in like a half hour ago when I was ready to start the show.
Right. If I could just give the folks a little quick setup on that. You came up to me before we got into all this technical mishigas, and you said, something just happened. I just had a breakthrough that I would like to tell you about at the top of the show.
Yes,
You were like, I was so amped about this that you had to call Genevieve.
Yeah, this happened about an hour ago, and that's why I wanted to end that technical talk that we were just doing now, because I want to go into some other technical talk. Now, listen.
I'm so excited about this show.
I think this is going to pay off. Like, I've been thinking about this for the past hour and a half. Like, can I tell this in a way at the beginning of a show when we're asking people to support the show?
Yes.
Is this a good enough story? It's about a malfunctioning computer. Is this a good enough story to lead the show with on Tuesday? And I've thought about it, and I really think it is. Now, I can't promise you it's going to pay off.
Now, that's interesting.
But if this does fall flat, just don't think that I'm throwing it out there willy-nilly. Do you remember when I went to Cleveland for a week and did some TBTLs from there? This was about, 4 months ago maybe?
Yes.
And I was doing the broadcast from my parents' house. And there were other technical issues that went along with that, but we mostly figured them out. But I had this thing that was really in my head. Do you remember what it was?
I know exactly what it was. And I felt like it was a very Andronian response.
Andronian.
The classic Andronian response.
This is where I write down show titles.
Which was something on your computer, on your keyboard, was not working, and you were very convinced that you had broken the keyboard due to lack of care, due to the way you packed it or the way you put it in the overhead. And I remember thinking, that just doesn't seem – I also didn't think the lights were the problem earlier. So, I mean, I don't know, I guess, how much we can rely on my opinion. But I just remember thinking, that just doesn't seem like that would happen. But my memory is you had sort of worked it into something that you were feeling really disappointed in yourself that you had not taken better care of this piece of machinery.
Yeah, and that's this computer that's right in front of me right now, which is my second laptop, my second personal laptop that I've bought myself. My first laptop, which was a honkin' huge thing that I
believe
bought.
You called it a gamer laptop.
Because it was technically a gamer laptop because I was scared to leave the world of a desktop PC behind. That one I legitimately did break the keyboard on, and I think I did it through travels. It was a big laptop, and I remember jamming it under the seat of the plane seat in front of me on some travels, and I came back, and the keyboard wasn't working right. It was one of those things, you've probably had this at some point in your life, Luke, where it mostly works, but you're hitting some letters, and they don't go down, so you have to hit them a couple of times.
So you have to just type different words.
You have,
like you wanted to say Mississippi, but you have to go the river in the south, because... Which still actually involves one S, but you don't have to hit it 4 times.
Right. The river and the Alf.
But that's a show title.
Now, it wasn't one of those things where the keys totally didn't work, but it's just like there would be a delay on them, or they'd be slow, or you'd have to hit it several times. And that was a real thing. I broke that keyboard, and I had to get it replaced on the laptop. It was kind of an expensive fix, and it was certainly a pain in the butt. Then, years later, I go to Cleveland. This is about 4 months ago, and I have my new sleek little Dell laptop here, and I get to Cleveland, and I'm having the same thing with my keyboard. It is slow to respond. Certain letters I have to push really hard, and you don't realize how just quickly all of us type when you don't think about it. If you just type, but then suddenly when words aren't coming out right, it's the most infuriating
really
thing.
is.
You're trying to type in passwords, and you don't even see what letters are working and what aren't, And I was in my head about it, and it did not make sense to me why this was happening in Cleveland, but it was also sort of happening in fits and starts a little bit. And sometimes I even got a weird warning on the computer. It wasn't a Windows warning. It was like you know how sometimes you get weird warnings on your computer and it's like the hardware is talking to you? Do you know what I'm talking about? Am I out of my gourd here?
No. I because I use an Apple brand computer, I think I get different.
It all looks the same.
Yeah, I get. I don't get those sorts of messages, but I think I can.
For a computer like this, sometimes you'll get a Windows thing that says, "Hey, Windows doesn't like what you're doing," or whatever.
Clippy will show up, but clearly he's been drinking.
Right? He's just like, "Oh my god,
I need some help."
He's got like a 4-day-old beard, just reeks like a cigarette butt.
I just got the inside track on an NFT, and if I could just get a couple $100, I think I can turn it around pretty quick.
But then sometimes that's the Windows thing. Then sometimes your computer is just like, this isn't even a Windows thing. This is me, your computer talking to you, and I'm not okay. I'm not okay, and we have hardware issues, and it's a problem. I was getting some messages like that, and it drove me bananas that week I was in Cleveland. And you were telling me, like, it's probably not as bad as you think. It'll all work out, which is kind of a classic Burbankian response.
Yes, as opposed to the Andronian.
Yes.
You have the Burbankian and the Andronian.
I mean, it's classic philosophy.
It sure is.
Okay, I'm dragging this on too long. I go home to Seattle. I put my studio back together. And at some point I realized, whatever that problem that was dogging me in Cleveland isn't dogging me anymore. I'm like, well, that's nice. And I was also thinking, like, maybe I'm just putting my computer on a more stable kind of place in my desk. Like, whatever. But I also didn't think about it that much. It was working again, so I stopped thinking about it. Luke, when I arrived in Denver 2 days ago, and I got to this Airbnb before you, and then you walked in a couple of hours later, and you said, "Hey, Andrew," and I said, "Luke, I'm freaking out about everything." Remember that moment where I was being
it turns
real
out you were right to be freaking out, considering today's broadcast almost didn't happen.
Well, one of the things I don't even think I told you was that problem came back. My computer, I was trying to type emails to people saying, I can't log into my audio editing software, which is another problem I had. But the other problem was, it was like, I can't log onto my... And I didn't even have time to deal with that. And I honestly had this thought. I'm like, how is it that I'm traveling again? And my computer, again, is giving me this kludgy thing where suddenly my keyboard doesn't work. And here's what I came up with in the moment. My computer, like my cats, vibes off of me. And knows
your brain created.
Yes.
Your brain actually constructed this possible scenario where your computer was reading your emotional energy and responding in kind, essentially.
So, I mean, I know that's not really what's happening, but I'm just dismissing it as that. I'm like, my computer is like me. It gets nervous when it goes away from home. And when I get back to Seattle, it's going to be fine again.
The word that comes to mind is ludicrous.
But for right now, it's just having a little bit of an anxiety attack, and I'm just going to be good to it. So that was a
The
couple of
human
days.
mind does amazing things when it's put under intense stress.
I just had other issues to deal with, right? And also, I didn't want to tell you because you'd be like, it was fine in Seattle, right? So I've been kind of dealing with this a little bit off and on the past couple of days.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I was working in a little desk in the corner of the Airbnb, and the keyboard was terrible there. Later on, you and I were working in the kitchen, and the keyboard worked so much better there. And I was like, why would it work better in a different room? I tried turning off the lights.
That's your classic go-to.
It was maddening. Like, why would a certain room treat my keyboard differently? Yeah. But I never did the thing that I usually do, which is just take the time to Google and see what people are writing on message boards going back to 2017 or whatever.
You just Google computer sad.
Anxiety disorder, Dell XP30.
Hey, Gorgle, why is my computer so sad?
Today, when I was doing my show prep, and again, this keyboard thing has just been, of all the things that are priorities technologically, I just haven't wanted to spend energy on that, right? I took it as an inconvenience that I'd have to deal with down the road. But I was in a good place with my production stuff today, and so I was like, I'm writing an email actually to our boss, Beth, and like only certain letters are working, and I'm like, just Google this for a second. Is there any chance somebody has written about this hardware issue? And I immediately find myself in some thread that actually was started in like 2018 or something. Some people talking about some hardware issues and delay on the keyboard.
That's where I usually just get off the train.
Yeah.
Because if it's like Quora, and if it's from 6 years ago, I don't think it's going to help me with my current AirPod related issues. You want not unlike a loaf of bread. You want the freshest like tech thread.
Yep.
You want it to be from a week ago, so you know they're dealing with the generation of whatever the device is that you are.
And you want a clear answer. You want somebody to be like, hey, I'm with Dell. Here's the issue. But it's so rare you get that. You just get a bunch of people repeating the same problem. Same thing happened to me. Did you find a fix? Same thing happened. And one person will say, well, I went into the BIOS and I did this and this and this. And they're like, you're digging into this and half of it doesn't relate to you at all.
Somebody says that wasn't helpful, and then this person gets mad at them.
Yes.
But then they have a link to their classic car photographs.
Yes, but they'll also be like, this was already covered in this thread, and they'll link to some other.
It can get really mean really fast.
But I find this one thing, and this person wrote this whole long Technical Times post that
my computer wouldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. It had lost joy in activities that previously had made it happy.
My computer broke up with my tablet, and it's not doing well. But I couldn't quite follow what this person was talking about in the thread, but they just mentioned something about plugging in USB things. Like I have a computer where I have 3 USB ports, or those small little USB-C ports.
Yeah.
And suddenly I remembered a while back, I bought a secondary power cord for this computer so that I could keep it in my road bag. And that power cord that I bought works with Dell's, but it wasn't a Dell branded thing. I unplugged the power cord, and suddenly I realized they were talking to me.
Oh.
Luke, and it makes sense, right? Oh, sorry.
Let him get through this. Yeah. Oh, that's unbelievable. It's the power cord.
I'm Clippy. I'm drunk.
Wow.
It makes sense. I took it on the road. It doesn't have anxiety on the road. My road power cable is not Dell branded, and it's causing hardware issues. That's why when I left the desk in the corner of the Airbnb where I was plugged into the wall and I was working with you in the kitchen, I wasn't plugged in the kitchen.
This is like Encyclopedia Brown. This is like Encyclopedia Brown or something. Like the elegance of the solution or the reveal. And like now, are you like in the movie where you're thinking of all the times when when you were like,
I'm like Zach Galifianakis' face in that meme where you see all of the math algorithms going over top of it. You know what I'm talking about?
You and I are in totally different memes because you have a Carrie Ells meme that you know about.
That, yeah.
I don't know about the Galifianakis meme.
Oh, I'll show you later. You're gonna.
But
love
so
it.
I'm just imagining that your mind was flooded with all of these moments where you were plugging in this this power cable that was like, and at your parents' basement and over there and everywhere else.
And like sometimes being in a different room and it not being quite so bad, but thinking that I'm off my rocker, and these warnings that I'm getting from my computer, like the Dell saying things aren't okay with me. It was the power cable.
You were raw dogging your Dell with some rogue cable.
I take it home to Seattle and I plug it into the one that came with the computer. Everything's fine.
Because that cable like locked down in some way?
It's just like kind of plugged into all of my
You don't want to crawl under your desk and
yeah,
unplug
that's
it
why I
every
bought
time.
a second one, so I can like throw my laptop in my bag and hit the road. So I mean, it just so anyway.
All
again,
I can say is wow.
I don't know if that really paid off as a story to lead day 2 of the TBTL-a-thon, but I needed to tell you that. I needed to close that up, and I'm just so satisfied the way it makes sense to me.
I'm so happy for you, Andrew, because I know what you mean, those kinds of sort of mysteries. And again, the thing with you, and I'm not trying to make this overly sort of psychological, but what I remember about you talking about it was just kind of how disappointed you were in yourself
for breaking it.
And I was like, I think the takeaway from this is I was right. You didn't break it. I think if we could focus on the salient point, which is I was right, it wasn't broken by you. No, but like it made me feel bad because I do think that that's a tendency you have is to like something is a mystery, and then sometimes your response is, well, I must have done something wrong to create this. And well, I mean, you did in that you bought the wrong cord accidentally.
But it's different than like taking 2 laptops on a plane and breaking them in the same exact way.
Exactly. So this makes me really happy because it means that you can stop kind of low-key beating yourself up over this one thing and focus on other things.
I can move on to the fact that people can see our shoes. In our troubleshooting, we kind of changed the shot, and I saw that people were already commenting on our shoes. So this has become like a feet podcast now.
Maybe that's where the real money is. Speaking of which, I'm going to ask you to activate the dazzling donor music for me, Maestro.
I was so into my scintillating story.
I'm trying to really get my feet out here, see if we can goose the donations.
All right. Are you donating? Here they are.
Get set. Now ready, go. Everybody ready.
We've got to thank some dazzling donors. Of course, this is TBTL-a-thon 13. Let the fun begin. This is the week where we remind everyone that the donations are the way that we are able to do this program. Donation from folks like Margaret Finnegan Boynton, who says, now here's a question. I don't have a city on Margaret.
This kind of came through a different channel, so I didn't get the city information.
Margaret would like for their city to remain anonymous, and I appreciate that. Margaret says, I've been in school for the past year to become a licensed massage therapist. It took a pandemic to realize how burnt out I was with my career as a hospice music therapist. Oh, that sounds like that would be a really intense experience. Thanks for doing that, Margaret, for the period of time that you were. I know that was obviously really important for a lot of people. But Margaret says, I made the decision to go back to school. I work during the day and I go to school in the evenings. So it sounds like maybe Margaret's still doing that work. Then there's the homework, the studying and practicing massage on people in my spare time. I always wonder about that. If if somebody finds out that you're training to be a massage therapist, just what the back rub situation is, what the amount of people just asking you, like, hey, could you see if you can break this thing up in my scapula or whatever.
I feel like there was even maybe a Seinfeld about that. He was dating a massage therapist.
Something like, but she wouldn't give a massage or something.
Her name was BB3 or something. I don't know.
It's been quite hectic and crazy with some really long days ending at 11:30 p.m. I just finished my last shift in the student massage clinic this past week.
Nice.
I've passed all my tests with flying colors. Congratulations, Margaret. I got COVID this month, despite being ever so careful. But I'll still finish school in time to graduate in August. Next month, I take the MBLX, which is the licensing test, and I hope to pass it on the first try. Again, how can I be... I assume if you're the person who is receiving the massage in the MBLEX test, you must really know massage. It's probably other licensed massage therapists.
You want to be the person whose job is.
I want to sign up to be the SAT of getting my back.
What if
massage.
They do it on a dummy? What if they do it on a massage test dummy?
I would imagine it needs to be a person who can rate. And again, this is why I guess would be that it's somebody who really knows the technique so that they can say, this was correct, this was incorrect. Anyway, so let's see here. I take the test. I hope to pass on the first try. It's not an easy test, and I'll be done officially in August. I just turned 45 this past week. I tell all my 45-year-olds, Margaret, congratulations on, almost graduating school. So here's my advice. Anyone contemplating a career change, or if you have a lifelong dream, do the thing, whatever it is. Life is too short to put off something no matter how old you are. It's never too late or early to learn something new or make a change in your life. It was scary going back to school, but I've loved every moment of it. I wish I'd done it a few years ago. Thanks to Luke and Andrew and the Tens for always being there in my life.
Nice.
Well, Margaret, thanks to you for supporting the show in the midst of what sounds like an incredibly busy schedule. And I think that's really very, very cool advice for folks to get. I think about our friend, the late filmmaker Lynn Shelton, who got into filmmaking in her mid-30s. A lot of people, and Lynn was a mom and just had a certain life going, but had studied acting, had been interested in film, but really made a concerted effort to do this at an age that would have seemed pretty late for it. And what she was able to accomplish in her far too brief life was really inspirational. So let's all take Margaret's advice and follow our dreams, Andrew, which is why I'm finally opening my bodybuilding studio. This will be my last podcast.
I'm finally opening my Massage Me studio where people come in. It says massages on the outside, but you come in and people massage you.
It's like that store you see in the mall, Massage Envy. I'm envious of people who are getting all these massages from people. You know that for most of my life I said massage?
No,
massage. Oh yeah, I'm going to get a massage. I think it was because maybe one of my parents said it that way.
Mitsubishi massage.
Mitsubishi massage. Can we have a second? Was yesterday's show title something about the car?
I think we worked the word Yaris into yesterday's show.
What about a series? What a 5-part series where every show title during the thon is a car joke. Today could be Mitsubishi massage, which I want to talk about that too coming up in a few moments, because that thing totally redeemed itself last night. We'll get into that. Anyway, Margaret, thank you so much for supporting the show, and congratulations on being close to graduation.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to just absolutely knock it out of the park on that test. Maestro.
On your mark. Get set.
Mitsubishi massage.
Ready. Go.
That's That's a classic as far as I'm concerned. We also have to thank Eddie Thrasher and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I almost messed up. I almost went Lancaster, California, but this, of course, is Lancaster.
Yep.
Eddie says, I'm a soon-to-be father of 2.
Wow.
Second is due in December. Congratulations, Eddie. And I'm grateful to have TBTL on this journey. It's been 12 years of listening, and I'm refusing to snooze, and I'm refusing to laws. Well played, Eddie. As always, shout out to Mara in Philly.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, and best to you. Signed, listener Eddie.
I mean, Eddie Thrasher. Is there a better name than Eddie Thrasher?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
I feel like I need Eddie Thrasher to, settle a few scores for me.
Right. Well, I feel
there are a few middle school bullies that I'd like to who I'd like to have them get a visit from. Talking to you, Brian Gator.
I get strong electric guitar / BMX bike energy.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah, no, I got kind of Hulk Hogan-y energy like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like a shirt that's maybe slightly pre-torn, then just take it off like that.
So do that, Eddie. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean,
it got weird.
Not around the babies. That'll be upsetting for them. But we appreciate your support, Eddie, and thanks for being 12 years of listening. That's pretty much almost the entirety of this show. So thanks again. We really couldn't be here without folks like Margaret and Eddie, which brings me to my next little point, which is that we have some thank you gifts, or as I call them, thankful gifts.
Mm-hmm.
We're very thankful for the donations. We got thank you gifts like these tonight pants. At what point, Andrew, or what amount of alcohol consumption is necessary for one of us to just be parading around this Airbnb in these Tonight pants.
Well, you know that they are beautiful Tonight pants.
Yeah. They're comfy,
They're
too.
very comfortable. They're kind of like pajama bottoms, I guess. I don't know if that's a demeaning way of describing it. I don't know what they're not athleisure wear. They're just leisure wear.
But I would like to clarify. They look to me like, we do live in a society now, which, hey, if this is what you're comfortable with, great.
Yeah.
Where people do wear a lot of pajamas outside.
Or that style of clothes. They're like soft pants, I think
soft
is what the kids
pants,
call them. They're
often covered in Minions.
Right, and these are not covered in Minions. They're covered in little pictures of pants. They're Tonight pants. They're super comfortable. They have pockets. They're very they're well made. I was thinking, I don't want to say anything bad about somebody who sponsored one of our big adventures, but I've only been on one international
Broadcast
flight before.
coffee?
Yeah, I got some things to say about Barry. No, when you and I flew Qantas Airlines to Australia, I was kind of surprised when they handed out like little pillows and some pajamas. Remember they had little pajamas and bags?
That was a special deal for us. They didn't give those to everybody in coach.
Oh.
They were because we were on,
because we're broadcast professionals.
Because we're broadcast professionals and VIPs.
Mm-hmm.
Although we were almost in the back row of the plane.
Yeah.
So we weren't pee enough.
Hey, we got an empty seat between us. That's pee enough for me.
That was amazing. But no, it was the nice folks at Qantas who had alerted someone on the flight to bring us those little and that was from first class. That was which we were obviously not in first class, but if had we been up there, we would have got that's like a little gift bag.
Well, again, I don't want to say anything ill about a gift that somebody. I don't want to look a gift airline in the mouth, but those I took them home. I didn't wear them. I'm not a pajama wearer, but I took them to Genevieve, and they were comfortable enough. But there was a cheapness to them, right? They were, and again, peace and love. Thank you for the pants, Qantas. There's a show title.
Also
too.
A show title, but I'm still obsessed with Mitsubishi Massage.
But my point is, these are not that.
No.
These aren't you went to a conference and somebody shot these out of a cannon at you. I don't know what goes on at conferences.
A pants conference.
I haven't been to a law enforcement conference in forever. But anyway, these are really good quality.
And I think you could wear these to the store
pants.
and you wouldn't look like you had totally given up.
Not at all. You would actually look, I think, pretty cool in that. You put maybe some pink Crocs or whatever.
Yeah.
It says TBTL on the tag. So that is one of the gifts we're giving away. We also have these Mad Libs, only we're calling them Too Beautiful to Lib, that Luke and I are handwriting ourselves. We're retelling famous TBTL.
You're going to tear through those now that your keyboard works again.
First of all, nice try, bucko. Second of all, can I turn my keyboard story into a Mad Lib?
Oh,
can we add that to the list?
Yes, it's on the list. I'm putting it on the list.
And so when you donate at a certain level, and all of these, check your email. If you're in the TBTL community and you've been receiving emails, check your email. You probably have one that is designed specifically for you and your situation. If you haven't gotten an email, you can go to tbtl.net and click the button that says donate here, or it'll say TBTLthon join us. But you can choose your gift levels there. And we've been writing these Mad Libs, and when you donate at a certain level, you'll get an actual Mad Lib book that is cute as hell, where they took you and me and they Mad Libbed us on the cover, and then you'll also get a digital version of that too.
Yeah, and if you donate at any level, you'll get the link to the kind of movie commentary that we did of the movie The Princess Bride. You and I, and over dinner last night, Andrew, I was kind of wondering, it's like, who are we when we do these kind of little pitches or requests for folks to donate? It's like, who are we actually asking? Because it's like, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you're obviously very dialed into this show. If you joined us last night for game night from the East Coast, the people that are experiencing this, most of them are, first of all, aware of how the show works in terms of donations, and also are maybe donating, hopefully. But the data actually shows that we have so many wonderful, generous supporters, but there are still a significant number of people who listen to the show and who haven't yet had a chance to donate for whatever reason. And so I guess that's kind of who we're talking to.
Yeah, because there are some people who've probably been listening for a long time and simply can't donate, and that's fine.
Yeah,
we don't.
absolutely.
So I just saw a headline from Hot Pod, Luke, that says Conan O'Brien makes a $150 million podcast, $50 million podcast.
We've made 150 million podcasts. Yeah, he just sold Team Coco podcast to Spotify for, I think it was $150 million.
$150 million. And there are a lot of different business models for podcasting now, some more successful than others, obviously. But the one thing a lot of people are doing are they're creating like Patreons or other kind of like paywall models where in order for us to do this, you have to pay and then you get the content. And that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. I actually throw no shade at that. But that's not what we've been doing on TBTL for the past 12 years.
This literally came up last night as well.
Yeah.
Like, we could try to go to a model, like you said, or we could go out there and see if a Spotify or somebody wanted to bring us on. And if this show were to go behind some kind of, like you said, paywall, the bummer of that would just be that there's so many people that maybe aren't in a financial position to help out, and then they wouldn't be able to get the show. And this community that flourishes online, particularly at the Stens page and stuff, it's just made up of all kinds of people. Some people that are donating, some people that aren't, some people that are donating $1 a year, some people that are donating, thousands. It's like it's a real range. But what's so cool about the TBTL community is that everybody's invited.
Yes.
It doesn't have to just be people that can afford to donate some money. So if you're somebody who can, you're helping out somebody who is maybe not in that position.
Exactly. And so if you're somebody who's been listening for a long time and can donate, but you haven't, I will get emails from people throughout the year saying, hey, listen, it's been a tough year. I don't know if people have heard, but it's been a tough couple of years for a lot of people in this world. And people will write in often feeling pretty lousy about it, saying, hey man, can you put me in touch with the person that I have to cancel my subscription? I'm so sorry about this. It's been a tough year for me. And I always tell those people, don't apologize.
No.
You were donating in the first place, and I'm sorry you're going through a terrible time. And that is not the feeling we want to give you. But if the other listeners know that those folks are out there and maybe somebody had a good year and they've never messed around with this before, mess around with it.
Yeah. Come mess around with us, please. When you're done fooling around with 2 or 3, come on home and fool around with us.
There's also a bumper sticker.
In the immortal words of Patsy Cline. We're the Patsy Cline of podcasting.
Yeah, tell that to Spotify.
We're just like, oh, did I just get us flagged? Was my Patsy Cline so good? We kind of are the Patsy Cline. Every Patsy Cline song was basically like, I know that you have other podcasts, but just please, at some point,
that is really
come
sad.
home and, just give me a little bit of love.
I'll just be here.
The TBTL model. We know you're going to be off with, I don't know. I can't even think of any good examples, but you'll be off with Conan O'Brien or Armchair Expert or, whatever.
Dax.
No, old Dax. But anyway, so yeah, that's the thing. Again, everybody knows it, but it bears repeating. We're only here because of the donation. We're only able to be here because of the donations. So thank you to everyone who's donated. Thanks to the folks that are going to donate. Let's kind of all do our part as much as we can, and we'll get through this week, and we'll just keep doing this thing for indefinitely, or until Andrew's phone starts smoking.
Catches fire. That thing is so hot.
A very real possibility. We should get a real camera next year or something.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
All right, a lot was made yesterday of Andrew's decision to select a Mitsubishi Massage to drive from Seattle out here. And I forgot, Andrew, I noticed on the Facebook page that we did a whole show in Arizona about your Yaris once, which, it really... you do have a type when it comes to these cars.
Yeah, I love a hatchback.
This Mitsubishi Mirage is also a pretty small vehicle. But after we had gone and visited Local 46, which is going to be great, by the way.
Yes, I'm so excited. I had a dream sort of about Local 46 last night. We walked in to just kind of take a look at the space where we will be gathering on Friday evening, 7 o'clock, by the way, right?
Yeah,
that's what we're telling
7.
And it was closed on Monday, but the person who runs it was showing us around, and you and I immediately remarked at how beautiful the bar is, the actual bar, the physical bar.
But beautiful in the way we like things, which is just like straight out of 1964 or something.
It's a beautiful wooden. What is it? Parquet.
Parquet. Yeah.
And anyway, last night I had a dream.
It's butter. Parquet. No, that's butter. Parquet.
That's for the kids. That's for the young people. That's a reference for you.
It's a Parquet Courts reference.
But anyway, last night I had a dream that I was trying to sell that bar to somebody, not Local 46. 7?
46.
But
just think about your friend Luke's age.
I tell all my Local 46s this. But anyway, I had a dream that I was actually trying to sell the physical bar, the rail in the bar, and everybody was very interested in it.
Well, it's going to be really a fun night. We hope to see everybody out there. Local 46 here on Tennyson. But after that, we went over to get some food, and I will tell you what. This place, what was it called? Bill's Inn?
Yes.
Was hopping. And what a cool restaurant. Just like a great menu. Lots of vegetable-forward stuff if you're somebody like me. I chose to go with a vegetable-forward sandwich that was just basically a big pile of avocado sprouts and cheese, and it was delicious. But as we were, it was so hopping that we couldn't. There was like almost no parking, and there was one spot, Andrew, that had been neglected. There was one empty spot, and why would that spot be empty when every other spot was taken? And it was because, not unlike when you get a bad ticket at a baseball game, it was an obstructed view seat. You couldn't. A normal-sized car couldn't pull into this parking spot because there was a light pole that was awkwardly placed,
like right in front of the spot, sort of. So you have to kind of wind your way around it.
And boy, if that Mitsubishi Mirage didn't just slide in there like a glove, and I did think there was a certain irony to the fact that like you selected that car for easy parking. I was giving you so much grief yesterday, and then when we went to dinner, it completely and totally came in handy. In terms of getting us some parking. And then when we got back to the Airbnb, the street parking was fairly full, and there was a spot, and you parallel parked. And what did you say? Something like when you're driving a Yaris, everything looks like a parallel parking spot.
That's right. When you're a Yaris, everything is a parallel parking spot.
That was a pretty good spoof.
We should actually open the phone lines.
Oh yeah,
but
we
before
should
we do that, okay. I wasn't going to do this because I want to take live calls today, but I did get this voicemail from somebody after hearing my story about the Mitsubishi Mirage yesterday.
Okay. Hey, this is Minnie. I was just listening to your story about driving the Mitsubishi Mirage to Denver, Andrew, and I'm also very glad that you made it safe. We have a joke between me and my boyfriend Riley that, we call the Mirage, first of all.
The Mitsubishi Mirage.
It is the car that we took from Vegas to Grand Canyon. So imagine it, flooring it and, reaching 70, being swept side to side by the winds, also in the high desert. That was not very fun. It was just a constant struggle to work with it, to get it to cooperate. Yes, but I will give it to you that it is very easily maneuverable. I just remember after arriving at the airport in Vegas, we also got the economy option, and we passed first by all the luxury cars like your Beamers, and slowly move into the premium economy like your Toyota, your Toyota Corolla, your Altima. At the very back of the lot, like no joke, like there's just like a huge space between those cars and this one single red Mirage just sitting there.
Miragi, Mr. Miragi.
And the rental person just pointed it to us and was like, "Yeah, there's your car." So we made it. And it was an adventure.
So yeah, I can totally picture it. But by the way, a red Mitsubishi Mirage actually sounds really cute to me. Mine's like a silver color.
The thing that sounds like there was a bit of difference in the experience was it sounds like the listener went with the economy, like the absolute most affordable model, and that was the Mirage. You had paid for a midsize, so you could have. But hey,
But I chose this.
But again, it came in.
Why wouldn't I have paid for?
It came in very handy last night, and I think we're going to be able to trade in. We just have to go to the airport and tell us a slight fib.
Well, they say that we have to say that it doesn't run right, and I will say that. Well, it didn't really feel like it was at the top of its game.
I think we're going to say it made a weird sound. The engine was making a weird sound. The weird sound was the engine working to get you over a mountain pass, but it sounded weird.
RPMs, yeah.
Hey, let's throw the phone lines open. 206-414-TBTL, 206-414-8285 if you want to give us a call. Speaking of Andrew's Tales from the Road, Should we talk snacks today, or should we get into that tomorrow?
I'm happy to. Well, let's take a phone call. I'm happy to talk snacks if you want to, but I realized that I was going on and on with all my technical stories today, and we didn't get to phone calls early as I planned to. So let's take this phone call here.
Ahoy, hoy.
This
Hi
is
there.
coming from the 612.
Hi, who's this?
This is Petey in Madison, Wisconsin.
What is up, Petey in Madison, Wisconsin? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just working at the library here.
Hey, wait, are you the same Petey that used to call into Stack of Dimes?
No.
Do you know that Petey?
I'm not Petey no. Are there other Peteys?
There was a Petey from Wisconsin
really?
Who would call into Camaro Kev and JD's show and leave messages, and that's just an odd bit of coincidence, I guess. What's going on?
Oh, that's wild. I must have like a internet doppelganger.
Yes.
That's so weird.
So what? So you work at a library, or you're just at the library?
Yeah. I work at the University of Wisconsin Law School Library.
Oh, cool.
Wow. What does that look like on a daily basis? I mean, the Dewey Decimal System is like over, right? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Really?
It's over. Yeah. No. You know, during the summer it's pretty chill. And then during the school year, it's pretty crazy and pretty busy. But I'm enjoying a nice little bit of mellow here. You know, I have time to listen to my favorite friendo's podcast.
Hey.
And chill out.
And TBTL, which is cool.
Yeah.
What do you actually do? Like, what is your day like at the library?
We have a staff of about 20 students that we manage. And then we also, I help professors find articles for their law review publications, and I help make sure that 3 law reviews get published.
Whoa!
By helping the students. So
we're having a real legal eagle week here, because we got a call yesterday from a listener who's actually in Denver but heading to Portland for a law internship.
I know.
You're helping. Is it University of Wisconsin-Madison? Is that where you're at, you said?
Yes.
So you're helping shape their entire sort of, legal research strategy. Did you study library science in college?
Yes, at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yes.
So I've always wondered, just what does that actually look like? Because we have a lot of folks that are librarians and people that studied library science in our listening audience, which is shocking considering how lowbrow most of what Andrew and I talk about is. But what is that like? What do you actually when you're studying library science? What are you actually studying?
Well, I took classes in like web design, so I took classes on on web design and a lot of how to give effective presentations, and then how to find information quickly, and kind of just information resources that people need to know how to use. We need to know how to use them to explain that to them. So a lot of my work now is kind of helping people look up court cases in legal databases and things like that. And things like that.
Is microfiche still a thing? Does anybody come in and
microfiche is still a
scroll
thing.
through the microfiche and figure out the clue to the crime?
Yeah, no. Microfiche is still a thing. Microfiche is still a thing. My favorite questions though are the ones that are in Russian.
Wait, because you speak Russian?
No, I don't actually speak Russian, but there's a professor here that works on Russian documents, and so I translate items from Russian into English and help them find them.
How do you translate it if you don't speak Russian?
Well, no, it's Google has a really cool translation tool. You just take a picture of the image and take an image of the.
Yes, I think I just saw this the other day.
It's super useful, and it actually works really well if you're traveling. So if you ever take TBTL overseas, not to go to Russia, but go to France or someplace like that. It's really handy.
We're never going to go to Australia again since Andrew alienated Qantas by saying they give us low-quality pajamas.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a Qantas airplane over there, and then we're going to rent a Mitsubishi, and we're going to drive through the outback, Luke.
Petey, how did you start listening to TBTL?
Oh, I actually don't know how I heard about TBTL. I think maybe it was from when Luke was on to do Wait
Okay.
back in the day, and then I started listening on the radio show.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would listen to the radio show, the podcast version of the radio show, while I was shelving books in grad school.
Do you know any other 10s? Are you part of the community, online or otherwise?
No, I am on the TENS group on Facebook, and mostly what I do is I just post dumb images and things like that, and dumb jokes.
Love it.
But my wife, Mary, is really, she thinks that if I don't get back up to speed with you guys, I'm gonna be like an 11 pretty soon.
Wait a sec. Now, is Mary up to speed?
Oh, yes, Mary is very up to speed.
Shout out to Mary.
Why are we talking to Mary?
I know. You should be talking to Mary.
No, we're very happy to be talking to you, Petey. But also, so it sounds like if you kind of got into this show in the radio days from Wait or whatever, did you then get Mary into the fold, as it were?
Yes. Mary didn't quite understand it, but then she became like,
wow.
Yeah. No.
The student became the teacher.
Yes. Yes. I almost want to give you Mary's phone number and have you call her.
We can prank her.
Sure.
Ask her if her refrigerator is running.
Just read her number over the air. Also her credit card information.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, Petey, thanks for checking in from the law library there at University. Madison is just such a beautiful, cool town.
I know.
I love that place. Yeah. All right.
Luke?
Yes.
Luke, one more thing.
Yes.
I think that did you come to a TBT? Were you on a TBTL taping, or not TBTL? Were you at a Wait taping in Madison by chance?
I believe I was.
Okay.
Some many years ago. Actually, it might have been Milwaukee.
Why? What are you getting at,
Okay.
Petey?
No. Well, 'cause I think somewhere in the depths of my Facebook photos, I think there's a picture of me and Luke together.
I must have been through. I thought this was I thought you were serving me with papers or something.
Is your name Luke Burbank?
Is your name Luke Burbank? Hey. If that exists, Petey, can you see if only you had the ability to search through old information and find the specific thing that we need.
Yes.
If only you had formal training in that discipline. But if you can find it, Petey, send it to me. Because that would be really interesting. Here's the thing. I've been to Madison, so I know that I know I've been there before. I can't remember what exactly it was for, but maybe it was a wait thing. So see if you can find that picture, will you?
Yeah, no, I'll totally do that.
Look in the microphone.
Have a great day.
Okay,
cool.
Thanks,
Take care,
Petey.
Petey.
Okay. Cheers. Can I ran into a 10 today, Andrew, speaking of 10.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about this.
This was really surprising. I went on my little jog this morning on something called was
there something about cherry in it?
Well, I was going to go on what was called the Cherry Creek Trail, but I thought that it was going to be too far of a drive. So I went to something, I think it's called the Prairie River Trail, and it is so cool. It just kind of goes right. There's there's also something called Confluence Park. I started up something called Fishback Park by the REI, which used to be a train station. Now it's an REI. Anyway, I just did this little loop along this river, and it was just really beautiful and awesome. But I'm down running along the river, and I just go back past someone. This is pretty early. This is 7 in the morning or something. And I'm just jogging along, and I hear, Luke! And I'm like, huh? And I turn around, and this person has now done a U-turn, and they're taking their AirPod out. They're like, Luke Burbank, TBTL? And I was like, yes. And he was like, I'm Matt.
Nice.
I'm a listener. And I said, did you know we were in town? And he goes, yeah, I'm coming on Friday night.
Nice.
And then he goes, did you ever buy that expensive cat TP?
And
I said, no. Do you like it? Do you have it? He goes, yeah, I have one, but I was going to donate it. I'll bring it on Friday.
Oh, are you going to take it back on a plane?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I guess they fold up, huh?
Yeah, 100%. I'm stoked. Free cat TP.
Thanks, Matt. Now Matt's like, I was hoping he was going to forget about that.
Oh,
I said in the
I
moment
never
he
forget
was,
a free cat TP, Matt.
Nervous in the moment. Now, you did not run into Russell Wilson, though, you said? Or you did?
No, but I went and I stared at that stadium. And it did give me kind of a weird feeling to just think, well, what's not helping is I've been reading the Denver Post since we've been in town, trying to kind of, immerse myself in local Queen City culture. By the way, do you know why Denver is called the Queen City?
I'll bet you I do. And by the way...
Wow, you never say that.
The phone line is open, 206-414-TBTL. Here's what I think I know about Queen Cities. I think it's kind of used around the country, and usually if it is a city that is not the capital, but it is larger in population than the capital, it is the Queen City, a la Manchester, New Hampshire.
Amazing. I believe that is totally true. It's also known as the Queen of the High Prairie.
Okay, I wonder if that maybe what everything I just said doesn't
No, I
apply
think
to
you're
this
right, though.
case,
I think when you talk, I think everything you said is accurate, but I think in addition to that, it's sometimes known as the Queen of the High Prairie, which is kind of a cool name for a town.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so I saw listener Matt, and that was very exciting. So thanks, Matt, for thanks for hollering at me. Also, this is, Andrew, I'm always on about the perhaps principle. Mm-hmm. You never know, sometimes something seems bad. I was kind of bummed when I showed up for this jog because I had forgotten my AirPods and my watch. So I couldn't listen to my tunes while I jogged.
Oof. How often does that happen? I can imagine.
Pretty rarely, because under normal circumstances, I'll just go home and get them. I don't like running without that stuff because I just... I feel more tired when I hear myself breathing.
Yeah.
It's a very constant. Now, real, quote unquote, real runners, the people that really go for it, like Becca, they never seem to have headphones because they're just one with the, I don't know, the experience of running. I want to create as much distraction between my brain and my body as possible. But had I been wearing my AirPods, I probably wouldn't have heard listener Matt hollering Luke, and I probably wouldn't be getting a free cat teepee.
You always say everything happens for a reason.
Now back to the Russell Wilson thing. I think what's bumming me out is that I've been reading the Denver Post, and of course, everybody here in the Queen City is very excited about Russell Wilson being a Denver Bronco. So you just see these headlines like, quote, obsessed with winning. What Russell Wilson is bringing to OTAs.
Oh my God.
And it's just like, it's like...
Oh, that's because there is a news hook here. OTAs for the entire league just began this week. So it's not just like residual.
Right.
It's just
But as of course would be the case anywhere, every story about the Denver Broncos currently revolves around this amazing, bright, shiny object that they acquired known as Mr. Unlimited. And it's like...
Unlimited.
I don't begrudge the city of Denver for their excitement or the sports writers for obsessing over it, but it's everywhere I look. Everywhere I look is some story about how Russell Wilson is just bringing this winning spirit to this team. And then I go and I see the stadium where he's going to play.
Yeah.
It was a reminder that we've got very different prospects for football over there in Seattle.
The Seattle Seahawks are asking the question that I think should have been asked a long time ago, which is, do you actually need a quarterback?
Right.
Maybe you leave that position open for a season. See
Absolutely.
what happens.
Shake
Has
it up.
anybody ever tried it? No, they're thinking outside the bun.
Has anybody ever just direct snapped it to an empty backfield?
What would happen?
Think about you free up an entire new receiver. Think about you could have 5 receivers if you have no quarterback. Nobody in the backfield. You line up 6 wide.
Sure.
They can't. That's a matchup nightmare for most
we've been
defenses.
Spending all of our money on quarterbacks.
That sounds like something Mike Leach would actually do. Do we have another phone call coming in?
Yeah, we do. Now, before I let this person on the air, I want to say this is somebody who's very engaged in the TBTL community, and this is somebody who joined us on the TBTL game night last night and participated with us. And before I let him on the show, I want to warn him, Ryan in D.C., no spoilers, my friend. Let's not ruin anything for the folks who haven't played the TBTL games yet.
But yes, it involves a lot of nudity.
But it does involve a lot of nudity. In fact, I'm hoping he's nude now.
Ahoy.
Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to... Yes, I'm not going to spoil anything, I promise. But this is actually going to be just a plug because I have never laughed so hard. I cried. I think I might have wet myself a little bit. I was dying.
That was during my Dell XP 13 story about my laptop cord.
Well, I mean, there's just so much great content.
Sure.
Obviously. Sure. But so I'll keep it short because obviously I engaged with you guys yesterday, and there's more people that need to engage with the show that need to actually get on. But just thank you guys so much. This show and this live stream gives me so much joy.
Oh, Ryan, thanks for saying that.
There is so much joy, and also Andrew, I just want to know, what conferences do you go to that there are cannon pits?
Well, like I say, that's
That
not
does sound
exactly
like a fun conference.
It's not my wheelhouse. I was kind of making some very broad assumptions about the conference community there. I might have gotten some small details incorrect.
Ryan, I don't want to sort of polish your apple too hard here. But Andrew and I last night, this is after we had a great chance to chat with you during the TBTL game night and participate and all that. We were like sitting here talking about like the future of how we actually try to grow this show a little bit. And I was like, the thing Ryan did, which is that little kind of video clip that you made and then put out on the various social media platforms. I was trying to explain to Andrew, and I said this, I think, in passing, maybe to you last night, but like there's so many of these podcasts that I now see on TikTok in little like 2-minute things. And I'm now interested in these podcasts, and sometimes I'll go to the real actual podcast and start listening. So I just want you to know that we appreciated that, and you were literally getting name-checked last night in the kitchen of this Airbnb as possibly the future of TBTL. Don't let it go to your head.
I won't. My head is already massively inflated, but I appreciate it. Also, watching this live stream, I realized, and I think a couple other folks in the chat noticed this as well, the original sound machine is red. Mind blown.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The original one from Target.
Yeah, I'm playing it into the microphone here, Ryan. So you can, it's red. Yeah, it started with my little brother David from the basement. Got as a kind of joke gift, gave me one of these. I then lost that at some point, but thankfully a listener and their kid made me this version that has an on and off switch.
They actually engineered that themselves.
And this is the one that I've now been carrying around for a couple of years now. But yeah, it's red.
And the reason why the TBTL one with all of our drops on it.
Say I was drunk. I drank 8 beers yesterday. That was all I drank.
This is officially TBTL blue. Do you know that there's an official TBTL blue color?
There is.
In our branding department or whatever they're called.
Look at how close it is to the Tonight Pants.
Actually the Tonight Pants aren't quite, they're not quite the official TBTL blue color because we didn't want them to look too much like scrubs. So
we don't want no scrubs.
I fought for them to be a little bit more of a royal blue. But anyway, now I'm rambling. Ryan, thank you
thanks,
so
man.
much.
We really
for
appreciate
everything.
you. And I'll hopefully see you when I'm out there doing that Wolf Trap thing. I'll hopefully see you in some tens in Virginia. I think the plan is to do some kind of a meetup in D.C. with folks that are in that general area. So we'll see you then.
That's awesome.
All right. Thanks,
care,
man.
Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
What do you want to do here, Lucals? How far? You're surrounded by clocks, I believe.
Yeah.
Are we still?
I think we're
going, or is it time
I think
to
we're
maybe...
starting to wind. So does that mean I'm not kidding? I'm genuinely interested in your snacking on the drive out here. Can we get into that tomorrow? And there's something else that I want to get into tomorrow, Andrew.
Oh, you're going to reveal this a little bit now, huh?
It's just a preview.
Okay.
I received from a listener. I'm not sure if it's a TBTL listener or a Livewire listener because I was doing a show in Eugene, Oregon, and I was leaving the Holt Center, and somebody from security stopped me.
That's never good.
Tiny little, that wasn't the first time. This tiny little lady in a security outfit said, "Are you Luke something?" And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Somebody left something for you with security."
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might be one of the most hilarious things. And I think it could usher in a new era of TBTL broadcasting. I don't want to reveal too much, but tomorrow, this will be hopefully cause people to tune in. And there's a sort of a visual element as well.
Yeah, so so people have sort of seen it a little
right.
bit.
It's been kind of the sort of far end of the shot. Tomorrow, I would like to reveal what I think is going to take TBTL to the next level from a broadcasting standpoint. Okay,
and then Thursday you will clearly be no longer needing my services. I assume this thing is going to become the co-host of TBTL.
We'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'm saying that the chances are decent. Although if you keep coming up with catchphrases like Mitsubishi massage, we might have to keep you around.
We'll also figure out if that thing knows how to turn off lights when it's having audio problems.
No, Andrew, seriously, I'm not, I'm not trying to, just like flatter you too much, but it was very impressive to watch you systematically figure out how to get this operation on the air today because there was no rhyme or reason to why it was happening.
Yeah, it was
and
nuts.
Again, I would have just given up. Like I don't know what I would have done. I would have just written a message on Facebook that said, "Sorry, no broadcast today" or something. And you do this a lot with technical stuff where you just go through the systems, you figure it out, you always get it worked out. and it's very impressive. So,
Good,
thanks for keeping this whole thing on somewhat on the rails this week.
Yeah, no, but honestly, like I think that these live streams have been a lot of fun. It's hard for me to do the show and kind of follow along with the chat at the same time, but like seeing everybody in the YouTube chat talking to each other,
oh my gosh.
and spoofing.
Well, that was what I was telling you, just so you all know, folks that are watching this live and talking to each other. You actually didn't seem like you needed that much calming down. But I was saying to you, I'm looking at the chat, and everyone's just having fun talking. And even like last night, I saw on Twitter, so, we had a game night for folks on the East Coast. Tonight, by the way, is Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would like to come hang out with us and play a game, 7 p.m. Central Time tonight, if you go to tbtl.net, you can sign up if you haven't already signed up. I think we've got a fairly small group for tonight, right?
Relative to the coasts, yes. So there's plenty of room.
There's room if you want to jump in, but like after we got done with that game last night, and by the way, shout out to our colleague John Sklaroff for jumping in and just like really helping us out with that whole thing last night. We after we were done, we John left the kind of chat function going for a while on Zoom. And people, again, the community, the way that the Tens just love to like catch up and
talk.
They
don't need us.
I honestly think it's a real Stone Soup situation. Like, here's what we're bringing.
Those guys are gone. Can we please now just chat?
I swear to God, Andrew, we are the Stone, and the listeners are all the other stuff. And it's like, anyway, it's simmering away. So
I'm definitely stoned.
We hope.
I can't do this show.
Give me 5 minutes. I will be.
Drugs.
Anyway, again,
that's how druggies talk.
Yes,
by the
that
way.
is.
That
by the way, you were right.
A stoner.
By the way, you were 100% right. That place near us, which I saw, and I was oh, that looks fun. But it said, it said rec. I thought it was a bar.
Rec,
It just said REC. I thought it was a bar or a rec center.
And wasn't it called like Sticky Rec or
Sticky
something?
Fingers.
Something I was like, that seems like a weed thing.
And you were so right, because today when I was driving back from my jog, they were repairing a window. Everything around us is warehouses. People are probably starting to zero in on triangulate exactly where we are. But everything around here is a warehouse. So this warehouse had this kind of cool sign, Sticky Fingers, and it said rec. And I was like, maybe that's a cool bar we can walk to. Well, this morning when I drove by, they were taking a window out, and it is a massive grow operation.
Oh, it's a grow operation.
It's like it was all lit up with whatever they do, and all the weed was in there.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
I know, it was actually for some reason more interesting to me than just a store that sells it. It was like, this is the production of it.
They were just replacing a window or something. That wasn't like nobody broke in or something.
No,
like that. Okay, good.
It just looked like an old. They just happened to have this window pulled out as I drove by at like 7:30 in the morning, and I was just like, oh my God, that's a jungle of weed in there.
Did it have a really strong smell? Because I used to know this dirtbag who had 3 pot plants in his tiny apartment in college. Mm-hmm. His name was James. You know who you are. And I couldn't believe it. You would get off the elevator on his floor, and it reeked. And it doesn't smell like somebody's smoking weed. It just has a different, very pungent smell.
What's the policy on smoking weed in this Airbnb?
I don't know. Where's the binder?
Maybe I'll get in tomorrow too, talking about. I've been rehearsing an email. An email of love for the person who owns this place.
Some gentle advice. Just
honestly not trying to be a jerk, but out of genuine concern for the way that some of the directions are coming off. I think I don't know. I've been workshopping it in my head during my quiet moment.
Yeah. Let's talk that out. I might have some constructive criticism for you.
What? Let's not talk it out.
I said might.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Again, thanks for everyone who's already been donating. And you know what? We tomorrow. Let's also give a shout out to David from the Smittens.
Yes,
for that incredible art that he's done that I want to talk about too. There's just this is such a fun week for us because there's just so much love in the air. I mean, there's always a lot of kind of love and positivity around this show, but it just feels like it's kind of it's sort of amplified this week. So and we got a lot to talk about tomorrow. So we will be back here at, hopefully, 9 a.m. West Coast, 12 p.m. East Coast tomorrow. The lights don't short out the whole system. So we'll see you then. Until then, have a great Tuesday. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Yeah, that's a great business model, begging for money.
Power out.